Hey guys, I hope all are doing great, and I hope everybody is safe and sound. And for people who are really struggling, you have my prayers, and let's get our lives back, guys. I know it's pretty bad. Let's get our lives back. Okay, so today I'm not going to take much of your time. It's going to be such a neat and such a simple concept. So this is about how it's very difficult to change our first impressions in our minds, and how it's very difficult to unlearn something. Okay, so I know this is very vague, so let me it's majorly about accepting the personality of a person, how it keeps changing every day. It's about that. Okay, so I know this is very vague, so let me give you an example. You know a person during your school. Let that person have a personality of state A. Now that state A could be an introvert, could be an extrovert, could be anything. So let me take an introvert. So you know a person, and he is very introverted during his school. He's not very social. He has a lot of timidness, and he's very shy. Now, okay, so his friends are gonna be like, oh, okay. The first thing they're gonna think about him is gonna be like, oh, okay, so you are very timid, and you are very shy, and I think that you are not very communicative. So these are the ingredients that your mind is going to process. So later when you meet him in his life, after let's say 4-5 years, now he is doing his undergrad. That time when you look at them, you know the first thing that's going to run in people's minds who actually knew him long back then, you know what's the first thing that's going to run in their minds? It's going to be like, hey, how come you're so social now? How come you're not an introvert now? That questioning comes first. It's not the affirmation. It's not like, oh, okay, dude, you are in state A back then, and now you have evolved beautifully. That's so good. That affirmation doesn't come. You know what comes first? It's gonna be like, oh, how come you're like this? How come you did not get max in your 5th grade, and how come you're doing great in max now? That questioning comes first. You know why? Because our mind is like that. Because even research tells us that the first thing that we learn about something, it's very difficult to change later. So when our mind process the first thing it sees, for example, the first judgment, the first opinion, the first impression about someone's personality, or let it be even a concept, the first thing that you get to know about something, later it is very difficult to change it. It's very difficult to unlearn that and put a new thing into it. That is why we struggle within ourselves to adapt to the change in the person. That's why we question, we don't affirm. But by doing that, you are putting that person down, and you're also putting your ability to adapt down. You shouldn't question, you should only affirm. Let me give you another example. It's about me, okay? So in school, it's not indicative of anyone. I'm not going to use any names because it's just about me. So I'm not going to go into the details, okay? So this was during my school. I used to be a very less social. I used to be very, very timid. I used to have a lot of self-doubts about myself, and I used to not be very communicative. I'm such a, I was a scared kid. But then later, so that time my friends or my fellow mates had that image like, okay, this person is like this. Okay, this person is scanned. Like I said, they scan all the ingredients and they put it into your head. Then later during my college, so there was this incident that happened. So someone came to me and said that, hey, I heard this person talking like I should be very beware with respect to you. I said, why? And then the person said that because in school apparently you didn't have a lot of friends, and so the person who knew me back then told that I should be very careful with you. So when I heard it, I actually felt very sad. I was like, you know, what's the first thing that ran inside my head? The first thing that ran inside my head was like, am I like that? Do I not have a lot of friends? Even if I do, my mind is gonna ask me that question, because someone who knew me back then in my school raised an opinion like that, and that's coming and hitting me, so my mind is processing it. It's like, oh, are you like that, Madhu? Do you don't have a lot of friends? But actually that's not the truth. I do have a lot of friends. I am different from how I used to be. But then, that put me down for 1 second. That's bad, right? That's gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt me. And it could be anyone out there. It could be anyone. So just because you knew that person during some state, it doesn't mean it's the final state. It doesn't mean it's like that for the rest of their lives. They're gonna keep changing. They're gonna keep evolving. And at the same time, it's not wrong to have first impressions. It's not wrong to have first judgments. Of course, you can have any judgment about anyone, any opinion about anything. But then, one thing that we have to note here is that when the person, when the particular thing changes to a newer state, it could be anything. You need to be ready to accept that. You need to be ready to adapt to that change. Because when you do not do that, like I said, it's going to hurt the person. It's going to hurt them. And it's also going to, it's going to have that battle inside your mind like, how come? That those questions are going to keep arising in your head. And that is not very nice. And it's something that it's a quality, guys. I know it's very difficult. Even I have had my first impressions. I have had my self-judgments about someone. But then later, you need to unlearn that. You need to unlearn that concept. You need to unlearn that something that you've already learned. Because like I said, it's a process. Life is a process. Everybody's, development is a process. Everybody is going to evolve into something. You don't know what. You saw that person during your school time. Right now, you're in some other stage. And now you're seeing some person. After 20 years, it's going to be something else. You never know, because like I said, we are all too small to even process certain things. So we need to appreciate every single change, and that change could be moving from an introvert to an extrovert, or vice versa, moving from bold to timid, or timid to bold, anything. But you need to go to that person. Even you need not go and tell it to them, but at least you need to set it in your mind that, oh yeah, she used to be like this, now she has changed. You're not giving any comments about something that you knew long back. Or what's the best thing that you can do? You can say, yeah, she used to be like that, right now I have no idea. And when you get to know that the person has changed, you're gonna be like, okay, that's great, that's best of you. Very few people come and go and tell the person, let the person know that, hey dude, back then you did not get mathematics and right now you're doing great in it, that's so good. And back then you were so timid and right now you're so bold. That's so great. You're inspiring me. Very few people do that. And I feel like everybody should do that, because you're going to create the positive energy and you're going to help the person develop into something. And that person is you. Someone is going to come to you and say that, hey, you are like that back then and right now we have improved. It's going to make you feel better and it's going to put you into a higher place. And you're going to know that, hey, yes, I'm doing this right. People notice me. Because there are people who crave for that, attention. They want to, there are some people like that. They still struggle. They're not letting it out. But they just want people to notice them. And they want that affirmation, guys. They want that acknowledgement. Let's do that. At least, even if you're not doing that, let's not hurt anyone in the process. Because all the personality, traits, characters, it's going to keep changing. It's not the final end product. So I hope this made sense. And like I said, let's do it together. Let's learn the process together. Anyways, apart from that, I hope that everybody is doing great. Let us make that virus go into the sky and let it never come back to us. I hope you have a great day. Like I said, keep breathing.